Now, before we begin our story, let's talk about Ingram himself. Ingram Kazami is the head of the Kazami clan, or at least its newest heir, after his father died in the Nine Tails attack. Ingram's childhood was actually pretty great. He was known as a prodigy, quite obviously amongst the leaf, and he had a natural affinity for wind and shadow manipulation, being able to disappear and slash his opponents in and out of the shadows. He would have grown up alongside the likes of Kakashi and Guy, being one of the, if not the best trio of all time, the Copy Ninja, the Hidden Beast of the Leaf, and the Phoenix of Death itself, which would be Ingram's title, as when Ingram went to the battlefield would be scorching with green flames and nothing left but his opponent's bodies. Loki, I think that kind of sounds hardcore, but I would love a Naruto narrator, or more, maybe Morgan Freeman to narrate that. So these guys, as they grow up, they would have actually had a pretty good life. However, there was always one friend Ingram was close to, a friend that he found closer than even a brother, or basically was his brother. That being Itachi, a friend that became family. They fought together, played together, even ate at each other's houses. They were welcomed by each other's families. And so our story begins at the very end of something tragic, the Uchiha massacre. And Itachi is standing outside as he feels the presence of Ingram behind him. Ingram and Itachi look at each other, tears in their eyes, respectively, and he looks at him, dead in his eyes, Sharingan or not, and simply asks him, why? Why would you do this? Why didn't you just convince them to leave or something else? To which Itachi says they wouldn't. They couldn't. This was the best outcome I could think of. In which Ingram's like, killing your family? Killing your friends? Did you do it? Where's Sasuke? He's alive. Oh, thank God. But what now? What are you gonna do with him, huh? You're gonna take him with you and live your life as a rebel? To which Itachi says, no. I'm going to go undercover and see if I can find a way to take out the Akatsuki. But I need a favor from you. A favor from me. After everything you just did, you're lucky I don't slash your eyes out. What do you want? I need you to take care of him. Raise him as your own brother. Please. For me. One last good deed. To which Ingram simply sighs and simply states, fine, but you better not die before you make this right to him, to me, and hopefully to anyone else you've wronged here today. And so Ingram does find Sasuke in the village, crying over his parents' bodies. And Ingram and him do have like a sort of brotherly relationship, where Ingram's like that cousin that kind of fits that role. And Ingram walks over to Sasuke and simply hugs him, with Sasuke crying into his armor. And he simply asks him, why did he do it? Why? Wouldn't there have been a better way? Why did he do this, Ingram? Why? And he simply states, I wish I knew. I really did. But I'm going to make sure you're well taken care of. No harm will come to you. And if anything does, I'll make sure they regret it and be the last thing they ever see. But I know the path you're probably going to go on. Vengeance. While I could definitely say it never solves anything, Sasuke, I can at least help you. But I need you to understand, I'm not going to train you as a soldier. I'm going to train you as family that wants to do something right. Is that okay with you? To which Sasuke actually does look a little bit hopeful and simply states, okay, I'm with you, big brother. And this is where he does hug him. And well, some days do go by and Naruto goes through his life the same. But this is where I will actually be giving Naruto an actual break. You see, when the store clerk throws a mask at Naruto, the mask doesn't hit him. as Ingram is the one to catch it, even scolding the man for treating a child like this. Whether he's the Jinchuriki or not, you think it's wise to treat him like this? Where he could just, what, rampage and go out after that? And this is where he actually gives the mask gently to Naruto. And Naruto simply states, "Thanks, I'll be on my way." However, Ingram simply stops him and states, "You don't have a real place to live, do you?" To which he says, "No, I really don't." To which Ingram's like, "Well, now you do, kid. Follow me." And to which this is where he does go against the Leaf Village itself by taking in Naruto. Now, this does cause some havoc. However, this is where he makes a full statement clear to not only the council, but to Hiruzen and Danzo that he's going to be taking in both of them, whether they like it or not. And if you want to find him or attack him, go ahead. Matter of fact, do it right here. All of you. But if you don't, and you understand what that boy is capable of, then you're going to let me do what needs to be done. And so, when no one attacks him, Ingram leaves. And well, this starts a whole new life for not only just Naruto, but Sasuke. Their childhood is actually a lot better, considering the fact that Naruto and Sasuke could have actually been raised together as brothers if what's his name, Sasuke's mother was allowed to adopt Naruto, which likely could have happened. But then again, it's very possible that it could have definitely gone where the Uchiha do try to use Naruto as a weapon of war. But nevertheless, Naruto and Sasuke actually have a breath of relief. Now, Sasuke does have an angsty moments, but he's a lot more cheerful, a lot more happy. But let's talk about their training. They're way stronger in this timeline. Considering Ingram is like around the same levels as Itachi when he's like during his Akatsuki era, I think that he would definitely be slightly, if not fully above Kakashi, and slightly below Guy. But in terms of like raw speed, he's got them both beat. Just like Kakashi has skill and Guy has strength. But let's talk about Naruto and Sasuke. Their chakra control is on a whole nother level in this one. While Naruto doesn't know how to fully access the Nine Tails, Ingram teaches him to access parts of it, kind of warming up to Kurama himself in the process. And so, this means that not only Naruto can do the whole multi-shadow clone thing, by the way, the whole thing with Mizuki still happens, just under different circumstances, but Sasuke's own chakra control is a lot better in this timeline. While he was a prodigy, dude's about to be prime golden Frieza by the time Ingram's done with him. And so Ingram actually showcases some of his moves. And while he doesn't teach them everything, he at least helps them learn how to control their clones, how to make them operate independently. But one move he does teach them, and he has a whole lot of fun with it, is his wind echo ability. Now, the wind echo ability in Bakugan is where Ingram is actually able to phase into the ground and strike his opponents and even avoid most damages, unless somebody has basically a durability or a negation ability. However, it works kind of like Shadow Sneak, if you will, from Pokemon. Able to phase into the shadow, but you actually have to physically come out and attack this time. Not that whole ghost type nonsense. So I think the training would actually be hilarious as Naruto kind of gets stuck as a shadow for a little bit. And Sasuke does take a moment to figure it out. But again, eventually they both do get it with a couple of goofs along the way. But it makes actually their bond a lot stronger. But let's also talk about the written exam, since now we're at the tuning exam part, right? Well, Naruto was able to pass it. He's way smart in this timeline, thanks to Ingram actually being on him and actually being not only just an older brother, but a decent parental figure. Meaning that they actually do get the same teams as the original. And the reason why I'm not giving Ingram a team is because I think he would actually make any other team probably a bit more overpowered. Like even Kiba and Shino and Hinata would actually be a lot more overpowered. Now, if I went that route, then that means Kiba would have been way more difficult for Naruto. Shino would have been probably above Neji, and Hinata likely would have been on par with him. So, yeah. And he would have had a way more different, or if not destructive influence well, not destructive, excuse me, way more positive influence on Hinata's confidence, but that's neither here or there. But let's actually talk about the Bell Challenge, right? Because Naruto and Sasuke are a lot better in this timeline, Sakura's the one to get tied up. And this is because I do have a plan for her. Sakura deserves some growth. I know, very controversial, but Sakura deserved to be a little bit worse than them. She has better chakra control. She does have some great potential, but again, she sucked. She really did. She was useless. Ino was a bit more useful than she was. And well, I think after losing the Bell Challenge and eventually overcoming it, she would likely seek out Ingram, who Naruto and Sasuke do talk about with Kakashi, and she would ask him to train him. However, Ingram, sensing there's something underlying there, states no, he won't. Not unless she tells him, the actual truth why. And Sakura confesses. She wants to impress Sasuke. She wants to be better than Naruto. She wants to have a full connection with him. And Ingram slowly breaks down exactly why this is not the way to look at things. And Sakura listens, absorbing the information, and then simply states, well, she'll try to learn to know Sasuke a lot better. And so, Ingram then begins to train her. Keep in mind, Sakura's not the lovey-dovey girl or the love-struck girl anymore. She's focusing on herself, focusing on her own growth so that she can actually keep up with them, which is actually a much better goal she should have had. And so Ingram utilizes her chakra manipulation and actually teaches her to use a pedal blizzard in a way. I'm gonna call it that because I don't really have a really creative name for it. But again, I think having it as a pedal blizzard definitely works, as Sakura's able to utilize her own wind manipulation and actually able to, well, bend these roses or these rose petals that are usually around her when they train in a garden. Meaning she's able to do this in an environment that does have a decent amount of plant manipulation, turning them into razor sharp weapons. And he also teaches her glimmering shadow slash, which will come in handy. Here's why. We now go into the second part of the exams, the Forest of Death. I know I kind of switched out a lot of things, but I guess I'm kind of confused here, but I am trying to get to the, whole point here. But now we get to the Forest of Death, like I said earlier. With Naruto and Sasuke being stronger, Orochimaru has to work a little bit harder in order to get that neck bite. In order for him to diddle Sasuke, he's gonna have to put that work in. However, when it comes to Kin, Dosu, and Zaku, this plays out differently. Sakura is a lot more formidable in this timeline. So while Zaku does get a blast off of her, she actually utilizes her pedal blizzard to disorientate and even cut them up. But this is not where this actually ends, because Sakura is more determined than anything to actually prove herself, to prove the teachings of Ingram and Kakashi. She actually utilizes a glimmering shadow slash and cuts Kin clean in half, killing her, shocking everyone there, even Ino, who's a little bit frightened to face her now. And this is where, some things still happen. Gaara's a menace, as always. However, when it's found out that Sasuke has a curse mark, Ingram, Anko, and Kakashi are all simply discussing it here. But now we have to move on to the other part of the exam. With Kin not here, this does mean that someone is left without an opponent. However, considering Kabuto does forfeit, I guess that kind of makes it even. Not too sure, but let's say Shikamaru fights one of the fodder dudes, right? Now, let's talk about Sakura versus Ino. And, well, this is a bit different. Sakura is stronger, she's tougher, she's better. And, well, this isn't really about Sasuke. It's about herself, her progress, her progression. And she even states she wants to make both of her senseis proud. And well, she winds up beating Ino. While she can't use the full pedal thing, she's still able to use the wind manipulation to create a barrier and even pulverize Ino. Doesn't kill her, but again, she does make it clear that maybe she could have if she used, the shadow slash technique. And well, I do think Sakura does forfeit at the end. Now, hold on, before y'all really get to me. I think this would actually be perfect because Ino is knocked out and injured, and Sakura realizes that while she has a ways to go before she can even do something like that. So, believe it or not, yeah, that goes the same. However, Naruto versus Kiba is far worse than the original. Naruto actually toys with Kiba for a little bit, and Akamaru, excuse me, and well, he uses the shadow sneak or echo shadow a little bit, and here's the funny part, right? He makes multiple of them, to which Hiruzen does give a side eye to Ingram, who's kinda next to him, but Ingram gives him a side look like, I dare you to say something. Go on, I dare you, old man. Go ahead, say something. Say I shouldn't have taught that boy that. However, when he sees Naruto making multiple shadows on the ground, he tells him, make me proud, boy. Go ahead, do it. I don't even care if you kill the boy. Okay, wait, I do care if you kill the boy, but make sure you let him know exactly who you are. And this is where Naruto pops out with 1,000 shadow clones surrounding Kiba and Akamaru. Now, I'm not going to say this is abuse, but it certainly is. Meaning Naruto beats Kiba legitly. And I mean, he beats that man down. Straight up cooking this man like a souffle. However, that's not where we'll end off here. We end off with, Kakashi meeting Orochimaru. However, Orochimaru freezes and looks in slight fear as he feels the pressure, surrounded by Ingram. Oh, well, you thought Orochimaru could just pull up on someone that's close, or if not on par with Itachi? Nah, that ain't gonna work. And so Ingram's like, you get 5 seconds to leave. And then he puts his finger up to his face, as you see here, and counts down 5. Wait, 4. Whoa. 3, 2. And to which Orochimaru's like, okay, I'm going. But you know this isn't over. I will find a way to get Sasuke, and I will take his body. To which Ingram's like, ew, pause. And so Orochimaru disappears. And that's where we're going to leave it off here, everyone. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. And I'll see you guys for part 2.